Hey guys, Max Jim here. Hey, it's all together. After a couple hours of following instructions, putting it together piece by piece, this is my Syedee Leg Press rack that I bought off Walmart.com. They have them on Amazon also. I don't know if they have this particular unit, but I bought this for $1,049. I didn't expect it to be a commercial piece of equipment. I know there's a YouTube video of someone that got one and didn't really say he wasn't impressed with it, although his was the lesser model without the linear bearings, I believe. I don't think he had a really great impression, although the guy struck me as probably more of a power lifter type of user of the equipment. I purchased this because I'm 64 years old and I just wanted something that I could put these spindly little legs to and try to strengthen myself for hiking and stuff. Just give me a little bit better performance ability as far as my athleticism to do the things I still want to do, which is hiking and bicycling and just staying fit. So for me, this unit for that price point is a hell of a deal as long as it works well and functions well. It looks great. Everything went together. The instructions were pretty straightforward. There was one part, the weight holder, that rides on this carriage. The actual sleeve, the part number in the instructions was either 20 or 22, and it turned out to be whatever the opposite of that was. Although there were only the weight holders that go on the back of the rack and these weight holders. So really, by process of elimination, I put the weight holders on the back of the rack. This is all I had left to try, so I put them up here. They fit, they work. Linear bearings, if anybody's familiar with those, I've had them before on a body solid Smith machine. That was also a really nice looking machine, but it also was for home use, so lesser gauge steel. Some of the parts fit and finish were nice chrome, but they weren't the heaviest commercial type of attachment to put on the machine. Although they did function, they did work, it didn't wear out on me. I ended up selling it and getting a power rack from somebody else. But this is along that same line, so it has the linear bearings against the steel rod. So those linear bearings, your bearings are rolling against this steel. It does make a lot of noise. If that bothers you, you know, this might not be the piece of equipment for you. There's quieter machines that are probably $4,000 or $5,000, $6,000, but this is a $1,000 machine, and it's actually on sale right now on the Walmart site for $990, which is a heck of a deal, but I'll let you hear it here. So you have handles here, just like the commercial machine. The profile of the diamond plate on this one is pretty wide. I know the lesser price, there's different models of this same piece of equipment on that site on Walmart and Amazon. Some of them have a little bit smaller profile diamond plate for your feet. This was the larger one. This was also the 2,000 pound rated piece of equipment. Some of them were rated at, I think, 12 or 1,300. Some were rated at 1,500. They had some different variations of the bearing, the slide bearings and stuff, so I think they must be toying with different variations. I don't know if it's for the sound or for the smoothness of the ride of the carriage on the rods, but they do have some different design types, so if you buy one of those other ones, it will not be this exact machine, but it'll be something similar to this. So this has the little plate on the bar on here, so you can play around with your feet adjustments, maybe get some calf engagement, things like that. Slide rod's really solid. Linear bearings, I'm not sure, you know, longevity wise, I'm sure these are on the lower to medium end of the linear bearing. If that's something maybe you should order. If you plan on keeping this for a really extended period of time, then maybe have an extra set of linear bearings that you could replace those with. The machine is not, you know, it's not a Hoist. It's not a, you know, a high-end really heavy duty piece, so it's not something, you see these guys in the gym that they rack up the plates all the way to the end. They put, you know, load up both racks, and they have a guy sitting on the slide, and you know, machines get broken at those gyms. So people abuse the shit out of stuff, especially when they didn't pay for it and all they paid was a $19 a month membership fee to the gym. You see some really crazy stuff, but this is for home use. For me, it's going to work great. I mean, my goal was to have, for that price point, something that I could put 2-3 plates on each side. Just work on my strength and my endurance in my legs. And this fits that. I mean, you have your stop pins, you have 3 different positions for the bottom stop. Oh, it just dropped there. And then your racking positions for how the length of your legs. I'm 5'10". I can set it on the top one, so I don't know if that's going to be an issue for some really tall people. You can lower your elevation on your seat pad to sort of get a better extension on that if you're taller than me, but that may be something to consider if you're a pretty tall person. Now, if you're working out in the middle of the night and you're in an apartment, a 1-bedroom apartment, and this is your 1 bedroom, then you know the noise of the linear bearings may be an issue. But I'm in the garage, and that would not be an issue here. I don't think you would even hear it inside the house. And I usually wear headphones when I'm working out, or I have YouTube on the TV, and I have the volume pretty cranked up. Again, I'm here to lift weights, so a little bit of linear bearing sound is not going to bother me. And it's a lot better smoothness-wise than the one with the Teflon. You guys have seen them on the earlier models of home equipment where they use the Teflon plastic strips for these sections where they would be sliding against metal. Now, instead of being extended like this, I'm pretty well extended where I'm just tipping this off to flip these levers out, but I should probably be down a notch. But I can still, I just extend my toes a little, flip the levers out. So for me, I mean, that 3 plates for an old man like me is already taxing me a little bit. So, but I feel like I could put another plate on each side, and this is not going to like hinder this machine at all. Where you're going to get into problems is like really loading it up and then abusing it. But if it's your own home use piece of equipment, you're probably going to want to take care of it. So maybe it's not going to get hashed over like a lot of the commercial gym equipment that you see. I'm pretty impressed for the price point, really, because like I mentioned the video I saw on YouTube where the guy had one of these. He said it was comp to him. This was not comp to me. I purchased it. I'm sure he's comparing it to more what he's familiar with, commercial end pieces of equipment, higher end pieces of equipment. But when I saw that video, I'm like, he's missing a market segment there that, you know, for older people like myself, I'm not looking 20 years down the line of my lifting career. So I'm looking for more of an immediate reward on my workouts, and this works for me. And the price point is very manageable for my, you know, my expendable cash that I want to put out for this sort of thing. So for that, for, you know, somebody young that's in high school athletics or something like that, I would think this would be a great piece of equipment. Somebody older like myself, somebody that's kind of just beginning to novice in weightlifting and working out at home, and just, I mean, this is a good piece of equipment. Not just this, I'm saying this has a really low end price point, but any piece of equipment that's home use, that's on the, you know, affordable range, if you take care of it and you assemble it right, take your time assembling it. Like I said, one of the things when I was putting this together was A lot of people crank down all the bolts as hard as they can. You don't have to muscle these down, you just got to get them snug and tight. But you don't want to do that until you get everything flat and flush. You kind of want to like loosely assemble it. And then as you go and you have things nice and level and lined up, that's when you tighten things down. A lot of people just tear into the instructions and they start ratcheting things down tight, and they may not have one piece as level or lined up, and now they've already ratcheted it down to where it's off by a fraction even, and you get these pieces that are, I don't know, I've seen reviews where people, you know, they're saying, well, this isn't level or that, and you can see they obviously didn't assemble it or take the time in assembly, because you see another video and it's perfectly flat and flush for the same piece of equipment. So anyway, I mentioned other pieces of this video that behind this carriage here, there's a mounting plate for this diamond plate that holds this weight holder up here, and it comes across here on this cross member. It's mounted good and solid with a couple bolts here, but I would like to see a reinforcement plate behind that, just so, you know, people throwing weights on and off of here. It's good and tight now, but over the years it could, you know, wear. I don't think so. I guess I'm imagining somebody sitting on top of this abusing it like I've seen people do. Padding on this is, it's good for me. I think it's pretty good for home use. And you know, I'm trying to knock this machine, and I got the linear bearing model, and this thing works pretty good for me. I'm pretty impressed with it, especially for the price point. And now, you guys, it's $990. It's even less than what I paid for it. It probably won't last very long at that price, but I'm going to give it a thumbs up for the, you know, the group of lifters that I'm thinking could get the most use out of this, so, and for the price. So that's my take on it. Check it out, guys. I'll try to do an installation video, but it's all pretty straightforward. So I'm just going to go around it real quick. Your height adjustments on the back here. Probably have about 5 different positions there. Vinyl on it. I mean, I'm not going to say it's out of this world quality or anything like that, but the fit and finish on it is really good. The vinyl quality itself is, I would say, pretty normal for a home use type of purchase for gym equipment. Flip rods work really good. No issues there. As far as that mechanism, to me it feels just like the, you know, the flip outs that you use at the gym. Stop pegs, you know, I haven't used it a lot. It's got a rubber stop here, you know, so that you don't slam down steel against steel. Catches work good, function well. In the instruction diagram, one of the breakdowns on this rod that goes through the middle of here is like probably a 1-inch diameter steel rod, and then it has these weight sleeves on the end. And it broke down the diagram like they sometimes do into individual parts, but this whole carriage assembly is welded together and pieces are already installed. So you're really only going to end up with sliding that rod through the carriage, putting the sleeves over it, putting the coupling on the end, and the sleeve on the inner side of that. There's like 3 pieces. And the breakdown on the drawing makes it look like it's a little more complicated than that. It really wasn't. Rods were easy to slide in, much more manageable if you have 2 people to hold, you know, this carriage in place when you get to where you're sliding this carriage on. Although I just put my thigh underneath the carriage and held it in place and slid my rods in there and mounted it on. Didn't have any trouble putting the bolts on. I don't like this sticky tape that's on the sleeves, like I said. Now I got to clean that off with Goof Off or something, but they had this really sticky clear tape on there that just would not let go when I was trying to peel it off to put the weight holder sleeves on. A couple spots, like I said, reinforcement was that cross member on the back of it. Would have been nice to see a reinforced steel plate that just snugs up behind the bolts, behind the lock nuts, just to like double up on the reinforcement there. Same thing here on the weight holder bars. These bars are plenty strong enough to hold the weights, but it has a sleeve insert that goes inside this framework, and then a hex head nut on the back side. Would have been nice if they would have put a reinforced steel plate on the back side of that, just so if somebody's like slamming a weight down on it or something like that, it's not going to wear that hole or the the drilled out hole that the hex head bolt goes through on the back side. I don't think anything like that's going to happen with the amount of weight I'm using on here and the way that I'll be taking my weights on and off. But I'm just saying, wouldn't it cost that much more to reinforce it with a couple little steel backup plates on the back of it? Maybe it wouldn't have looked as smooth finish wise, but it would have like really reinforced it a lot. Real minor things really. I like it for the price. I'm pretty jazzed up about it really. I think I'll get a lot of use out of it. Profile of it's, when I was putting it together, I thought was, before I mounted the seat on there, I thought, well, that's kind of a small profile. I don't know how that's going to work for me crawling inside of that. But then once the pad was on the back and I laid back on it, the length of the machine and everything it's compact, which is nice for home use, but still affords that you can get on it and do the workout. And it feels like a commercial piece when you're